Hi, everybody. Welcome to another version of the Bruce Singer podcast. I'm your host, Bruce Singer of the Bruce Singer podcast, and also CEO and founder of a company called Canada CFOs. And we provide chief financial officers, part-time, fractional, interim boards of directors. And I'm very excited to have a guest today, Akeem Gardner. Welcome to the podcast.
Bruce, thank you for having me.
And I want to tell you a bit about Akeem. Akeem is the CEO and founder of Canurta, which is a biotech company. He was also a University of Ottawa basketball star, and it gets even more interesting. He was a law school graduate, and then he was a law school graduate, became a farmer. I don't know how that played out, but we're going to find out today. Okay, right. So that's an interesting story. So before we get into some of I'm curious. Tell us your story. A little bit about you. How you became a law school grad to farmer. Where you are. Tell us a bit about your story.
In a nutshell, I'll keep it simple. My story is one of hard work, being in the right place, right time, being resilient, being a little bit stubborn, and always knowing that there was something greater out there that we just had to find and get to, almost, if you will, right?
Yeah.
As you mentioned, I'm a former University of athlete. We're not going to tell my teammates that I said I was a star player. You said that, not me. Right?
I said it.
After graduation at university, I coached for 2 years. After coaching for 2 years, I thought maybe I didn't want to be a coach, but more so a general manager, someone who can put teams together, bring talent together in order to try to win a championship. And when I looked at NBA.com, all the other GMs, they all had LLBs or JDs. They were lawyers. So that's what prompted me to go to law school in the United Kingdom. I went there for 2 years from 2015 to 2017. And when I graduated in 2017, returned back home to Canada while I was working on accrediting my degree so I could go write the bars and article and do all the things of that nature. I was completely enamored by everything that was going on in Canada at the time. Subject or topic number one was the legalization of marijuana and cannabis. And I was starting to understand this a little bit differently as a new graduate, not only for what was actually happening, but some of the opportunities that would come as well. So while I was doing some of my work, I said, Akeem, there has to be a way for me to get involved in this industry. Let's start now before it comes legal, so that 10 years post legalization, I'll already have our foundation laid. And the easiest way for me to get my fair share, to figure it out, to learn from scratch, was to find some farmland up north of Orangeville, find someone who was willing to lease me their land and learn how to farm from the ground up. So like we were talking about, that's how you became a farmer, right? Graduated law school, turned into a farmer, right?
A self-taught farmer.
A self-taught farmer. Got my butt kicked. Wow. My mom was like, Akeem, what are you doing? Right? Who goes to law school to come back and do this?
Yeah, well, of course, she wants to go for the sure thing, become a lawyer and get the sure paycheck.
Exactly. But again, as we said, being in the right place, right time, just hard work, resiliency, it afforded me the opportunity to be connected with really smart researchers at the University of Guelph that were working on some really novel, innovative technology. And because I was in the right place, right time, they saw that I was a hard worker. I had this prior training from my legal education. I had this knack for putting teams together and working with people from my time as an athlete. I was able to acquire this technology and put the appropriate team together so as to where now we are a hemp biotechnology company doing some really exciting things at Canurta Inc.
Okay, so when you say you're doing really exciting things, because I get the impression you're not just another cannabis company. That's not that. No. I met you at a conference, and that's when we met originally. And we talked so brief. Then I said, okay, I like what you said, so get you on the podcast. Okay. So you're not just another cannabis company. So tell me, what is Canurta? What are you doing? What innovation are you accomplishing? What's the plan?
Okay, so again, Canurta is a hemp biotechnology company, and we are positioned to solve one of humans and animals' most dire challenges. How do we deal with chronic inflammation? And we'll get back to inflammation in a second and why this problem is so important. But what we have found is that deep inside the cannabis hemp plant, primarily industrial hemp, there are other more novel and rare molecules that are a different class of molecules. So they're not cannabinoids, they're not like CBD, THC, they're not terpenes, they're actually more minute polyphenols, prenylated flavonoids. And hemp specifically has novel rare ones unique to hemp called canflavins. These canflavins are known to be extremely potent in anti-inflammatory effect, and they have some unique, interesting characteristics where they operate in the body in our pathways that are different, more safer than our traditional NSAIDs, and they are also non-addictive like opioids. So us at Canurta, we're harnessing the power of these canflavins in order to make novel therapeutics that can either be natural health products. We met at the CHFA conference there with Natural Products Canada, but also in the future, if all goes well, like we think it's going to go, botanical drugs and medicines as well. So this is a little bit about what our work at Canurta looks like. How do we produce these rare molecules? Usually these molecules are found in under 0.014% of the plant's biomass, so extremely rare. So for us, it's about how do we produce them at a commercial or clinical scale? And then once we're able to produce them, how do we put them in clinical or therapeutic assays so we can know how they can treat both humans and animals alike?
Interesting. So as a consumer, what I digest, I'm a layman here.
Mm-hmm.
I get it in a pill form or in a food form, or how do I get with the program? Because like the last thing, look, I've had inflammation, and the doctor prescribed me the mother one pill. It's like candy. It's called what's that medicine? It's oh man, I forget the name. Everybody, it's very common. It's very, very serious drug. I don't remember the name. It will come up. But if I'm interested, or anybody interested, what do they do? It's a pill. It's going to be a pill, or now they can buy it now, or
so we can't buy our products as of yet.
Okay.
We're in the early phase of launching products, right? And if we have it my way, we'll be consuming these in everything. Polyphenols and flavonoids, they're actually quite common in our diet. You see in your background all the fruits and vegetables you have. We have polyphenols in everything we consume. Humans eat them all the time. For us, our challenge, or not challenge, our opportunity is finding all the new innovative delivery mechanisms that we can give them to both humans and animals. So we eventually want you to be consuming this in foods, in a variety of different recovery beverages, in your lotion, creams, transdermal patches,
I got it,
et cetera, et cetera. And then depending on what specific indication a patient or a consumer might have, we want to deliver it to you the right way, and so that we can help you optimize your health and reduce your systematic chronic inflammation.
So it would be an ingredient. It would be an ingredient in other products. An ingredient,
starting it as an ingredient, and then again, as much fun as we can have, rolling out different brands, different therapeutic products, et cetera, et cetera.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Because inflammation is a big inflammation is a big problem. And typically, with the medical profession, I'm not criticizing, they're trained to prescribe anti-inflammatories. But then that's just, I don't think it helps the problem. That's just my opinion. It comes back, and you got to deal with the core issue. The core issue. It's prednisone, by the way, is the big one. Prednisone is what prescribed. Okay. So
a big problem, right? Like you said,
big problem,
and different than the traditional non-steroidal anti-inflammatories or the opioids to help you deal with your pain.
Yep.
What we're most excited about is our molecules more nutrient-like, more similar to all other polyphenols that we get in our fruits and vegetables, show very little sign of being toxic. Humans should be able to eat our molecules and consume them on a regular basis without causing other adverse effects. Okay. And we, when looking at the science, also know that our molecules act a little bit differently, whereas our NSAIDs, they affect your GI issues, they lead to bleeding, and opioids, we know that these are addictive medicines as well.
They're very serious. So
Exactly.
based on what you're doing right now, when do you predict that this product will be available to consumers in Canada? And is your game
In
plan to
Canada,
do it what? Is your game plan global? Is that the ultimate?
well, we have our patents filed globally, right? But Canada is very much a part of our strategy as
Yeah.
well. We are working right now to set up a production facility where we can produce our molecules and our ingredients in a GMP, good manufacturing practices environment.
Got it.
And once we are doing that, once I can guarantee supply and guarantee quality assurance, then this will be out. We have some people, we've already started to pre-market this, and we know that there's a lot of consumers. And again, some of our friends and family have tried our products as well and are already giving us a lot of positive feedback.
Wonderful.
Now we just need to be able to scale it up so we can do this at a mass scale.
Okay, so you have this organization, and always this is because you also said that you got to find it seems like it's rare to find, so that's gotta mean costs. Okay, and I'm a finance guy. Okay, so to do this, I'm assuming you had to either you're bootstrapping or you're raising funds or both. Are you raising funds or have raised funds and continue to raise funds? Is that where you're at?
We're always raising funds.
Okay,
Ever
I'd love
since
to hear that.
the day I put myself on the farm, I've needed to find funds to help move things forward, right?
So I get it. So share your story about funds.
Mhm.
What can people learn from? Because people learn from other people's experiences. So what can you share? By the way, I found out the natural health industry is very everybody's helping each other, which you see if everybody wants to help each other, which is really cool. I thought I'd mention that versus some other industry where you see a competitor, you want to shoot him. It's not like that.
I've been very lucky. I've had similar of your experience. Even though you often get a lot of no's, there are a lot of people who like to help you. And what I've come to learn is that people like entrepreneurs. They like people who are passionate about their ideas, that people who are resilient, that people who can take no's and continue to go forward, because at the end of the day, we or me as the founder, I know what's inside. I know what my gut, my instinct, my hard work is telling me. And I know that there's a gift that needs to be brought to the world, even if investor A, B, or C might not be the ones to help us get there.
Okay.
Sometimes we have to go all the way down the list, and maybe it's an investor X, Y, and Z. If we stopped at investor G and let the no's interrupt us, we would never get there. So resilience, hard work, continuously learning. These are some of the things that I picked up on my journey in learning how to raise funds and how this all works.
So the big lesson learned is keep going.
Always keep going.
Keep going. But how do you predict? Sometimes there's a financial element to a plan.
Mm-hmm.
How do you can you put together assumptions and numbers? Is that challenging to put together? I would think this you're in a new territory here.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You're in a very innovative new territory.
Since I started my journey 5 years ago, and since we started Canurta specifically 2 years ago, I've probably done thousands of financial models. Wow. I've had everyone and their friends help me build the financial models, make assumptions, test them, continue to narrow them. And I still have my financial models that I'm still continuously editing, working on, so on and so forth.
Okay. Well, congratulations. And just before we come to the end, because we do keep it short, so what is the future? What is in the immediate? We actually talked about the future. Is there anything else that we missed about the future? Because you happened to take away my question before I asked it.
So I'll wrap this up by saying why we're tackling inflammation. We know that systematic chronic inflammation is the root cause of 50%, over half of all human mortality. Everything starts with inflammation, turns into heart disease, turns into cancers, turns into diabetes, arthritic problems, and more. So ultimately, by being able to tackle the root cause of inflammation, we should be able to help a lot of people live happier, healthier, longer lives. And this is a very important mission that we're on at Canurta. So in the future, this is what we aim to see: a world where we can live longer, live happier, love our loved ones longer, and benefit with safe medicines without a bunch of serious adverse effects.
Well, look, bless you. You're on blessings to you, your team. You're on a wonderful mission. You're doing something different, but your goal is ultimately to make a difference in the quality of people's lives. And I thank you. And I look forward to hearing more about your organization and you. And I really appreciate you coming on the Blue Singer podcast. It was great. And if people want to learn more about you, hey, if somebody gets inspired and want to know about, there's the ambulance. I live in here. There's lots of ambulances. If somebody wants to reach out to you, and let's say someone does want to know more and is a potential investor, is your website to reach? What's the best way to connect with you?
You can always go to Canurta.com. We can message me on LinkedIn at Akeem Gardner or Canurta Inc.'s LinkedIn, or I'm also on Twitter at 1AKG on Twitter.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Akeem. It's been a real pleasure and very, very insightful. And thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you very much, Bruce. I appreciate it.
Take care.